got a T-shirt with bloodstains all over it. Maybe laundry isn't your biggest problem right now.
I remember the day the candle shop burned down. Everybody just stood around and sang happy birthday.
And a security guard came over and said, "You're gonna have to move. You're blocking the fire exit." As though if there was a fire, I wasn't gonna run.
You make love to the right woman, Johnny, is beautiful, beautiful. I mean, the last time I made love to my wife, it was ridiculous. Nothing was happening. I looked at her, I said, "What's the matter? Can't you think of anyone either?"
I never learn, you know, like a waitress will bring my meal. "Hey, enjoy your meal, you too!" But you don't have one, do you? I'm a doofus. If you do eat, enjoy it when you eat it. If you have a break or something later, if you get an opportunity, that's all I'm trying to say. That's all that I'm driving at, really.
Hello, welcome to Comedy Think Tanked, a podcast with Leonard Kimball and Nick Gordon, two comedians who know how to take a drink and have a thought. Sit back, get comfortable, and enjoy. Now, whether they're ready or not, here's your hosts, Leonard and Nick.
Hey, on today's episode, we have one of the second-generation Portland Comedy Co-op founders, Connor McGrath, a local Portland comedian who someday will make it big, and you can quote me on that. You can quote me on that. Connor will be a big comedian someday. I truly believe that. He has the talent. He has the drive and the ability, and he is fucking funny.
He is very funny. I remember the first time I saw Connor, I thought I was going to have a heart attack.
That's awesome.
I was a little more out of shape.
You were 50 pounds heavier.
Yeah, I was 50 pounds heavier. I saw him in Lewiston at the Ramada.
Okay.
It was like, so it might have been like the second show I was ever going to be on. Like Don Hartill was hosting a show there.
Yeah.
And
I think I was on that show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I was at the bar.
Mm-hmm.
So luckily, I'd already gone up. So like my health wasn't. I didn't need to be healthy anymore because I'd already performed. But I'm at the bar, and Connor's up, and my sides are hurting so much, and I'm cramping up. It's the first time I've seen Connor, and my sides are hurting so much. I really seriously thought I was going to fall over and heart attack. And I told Connor about that. I don't know, maybe that night or maybe the next time I saw him, and he just said, "Oh, don't die."
Don't die at one of my shows.
Yeah. I'm trying to make a reputation for myself, but not.
Yeah, not for actually killing. Killing, but not actually killing.
He was very, very funny.
I've seen Connor since I've started. I've been able to watch him at different venues and do some of his shows and whatnot, and open mics, different things where he's just been there. It's just like every single time, it's like, this guy's good. He's good. He's better than most of us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's frustrating as hell because you want to be good, and then you see someone like him. It's like, oh wait, that's right. There's another level.
There's another level.
And it's right here locally. It's not like it's Bill Burr showing up at your open mic. It's just another guy who lives in the same town as the rest of us. You know what I mean? Like he's from Maine. We went to the same high school. But yet, damn it. So I really hope someday he gets to achieve a level of success that is deserving.
Yeah, I think it's well deserved. He's great.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Make him a millionaire, someone.
Get on that.
Because he's good. He's really good. So pleasure to talk to him, just like all the rest of our comedians. But it's nice to have some real talent that someday we can say, hey, look who we talked to back in 2021.
Right. What did we talk about before we started?
I don't remember.
You did you did mic technique, but that was a picture.
It was more like a.
Like who holds it like this? Like
Who?
It's like
I like when people hold it over the top and talk into it. There's so many different possibilities.
Like, can you stop licking my microphone?
This one's mine.
It is now.
Oh! You know what's funny? We talk about competitions here and there, and I did a competition the other night with 16 or so comics.
16 comics.
And I just got like halfway through after I was done with my set, I kept thinking about, I was like, God damn it. Everyone is touching and holding them. And it's just so close to the. Like, oh my God.
You probably would have gotten
fucking germs.
You probably would have gotten a laugh by walking up there with like a Clorox wipes box.
Right.
And pulling out a wipe and just wiping the mic down. Like, hey, and just, sticking that wipe, like, I don't know, in your butt crack or something like that. And like,
Yeah. I that's a great thing. I should think of that. I'll do that, mate. No, shit.
What order were you? What number you were in?
I was number 7.
Oh.
So I was.
Jesus. Out of 16 comics, number 7, golden.
Yeah.
Golden.
Only a couple germs.
Well, golden in terms of germs
and time. Time slot. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Because
absolutely.
shit, I'm like, oh my God, like fucking midnight getting out of there.
I want to say that I hit the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Because everyone was warmed up, and the crowd was still there, and the judges were ready for something a little different. And I was able to provide that.
Okay.
So I think, honest to God, I think that's what it was. It's all about the timing.
All right. So we all have an internal running joke about you not knowing your set list. Like, did you actually do well? You remember what jokes you're gonna do?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. I didn't do half of them, but.
Oh yeah, I remember them in the car.
I had the list in my pocket, and I wish someone had recorded it, because within, I want to say, less than 20 seconds, I was off. I started my normal way, and then I went right into something else.
Did you do the ISIS?
Nope.
Oh, I really like that one.
I do too.
It won't kill you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Death of me.
Yeah, the death of you. Yeah.
I did that one, but I also talked to the judges.
You talked to the judges?
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah. I wish
doing that. Oh.
I talked to them. I did jokes about them.
Oh.
And I actually used the stage. It was a big stage. You've seen it. And I actually walked the stage. And yeah.
Was it a wireless mic or wired?
No, it was wired, but you had plenty of slack. So
okay.
It was good. It was interesting. I didn't feel comfortable until I walked up the stairs onto the stage. And at that moment, it was like, oh, I'm fine.
Cool. How many people were there?
I don't know. The crowd, if there was 100 people there, I'd be lying to you. But it seemed like there was a lot. There was nobody in the balcony area, but there was definitely, the floor area was pretty full, and then the bar area behind the floor area was pretty full. So I feel like I got some good laughs. In that venue, laughter does not travel well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know, acoustically speaking, I don't know if it's like the crowd noise does not travel to the stage as well as the stage noise travels to the crowd.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
I'm sure there's some scientific explanation to it. So I could hear people laughing, but I couldn't, like here at CBU, when someone laughs and you're right there on that stage,
right.
You sense it, you feel it.
Right, and you know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Okay.
But on a high stage like that at Aura, and like the people are laughing, I don't know, it's weird. They're laughing at your feet instead of your face. Okay. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like their laughter, even though they're looking up at you, their laughter's hitting the front of the stage rather than you.
Right. Okay. I get it.
It's interesting. Now that I analyze it.
Could you tell from what direction in the crowd a laugh was coming?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And I could tell, too, when someone like snorted, or like I get a couple of like, one-off guffaws and snorts and stuff like that. I was like, and I was able to like point to them.
Awesome.
So it went well. It went better than I expected, and having a 4-panel judge, it was weird. And you've been to a show there, right? You've seen it.
Yeah, I saw Ray Harrington.
No, but I mean, like you saw
Gilbert.
the competition, right?
No.
Oh, I thought you went to one of the nights.
No, I wasn't there. I haven't been in any of the competition yet.
So will you stand? You finish your set. You put the microphone away, and then you wait, and then the judges assess you.
They talk to you
in the moment. Yeah.
Holy shit! They talk to you after your set is over. Mm-hmm. Oh my god!
Right there, live and in person.
Because the night's not long enough with 16 fucking comics.
It did drag it out, but it at the same time it was cool because it was like, let's put them on the spot too. Like they don't just get to judge in a vacuum.
Oh, okay.
They have to justify the fact that we're going to give you a blah, whatever.
Okay.
And this is the reason why.
What'd you wear on stage?
I had a black T-shirt and jeans and
sneakers. You didn't rock the sports coat?
I thought about it, but it was so goddamn hot and humid. I know.
I thought you had the 40-something.
I know.
Algebra teacher look.
Yeah, there's that picture of me from Trinken that's really good.
Yeah,
with the jacket on and like I'm leaning back and my hair's all crazy. And
a picture of you at a theater at Monmouth also in a jacket.
Oh yeah, that's right too. That's a good picture. That was pre-pandemic when I was more clean cut.
Yeah, and your hair was like tamed.
Now I look like Krusty the Clown. Krusty the Clown who's not doing well. Oh man, yeah, it was a good night. So.
Awesome. Good for you.
Thank you.
Good for you.
Good for you, champ.
Good for you.
Good for you. Way to hustle.
Come on, hustle down the first base line.
Atta-bee, kid.
Attaboy.
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 Oh, God. So, yeah, Connor McGrath, everyone. Enjoy. Welcome to the Comedy Think Tank podcast.
Absolutely, I love recording a podcast in a cavern. Is this guy was where you? I was listening to the who was I listening to? Dennis Fogg and they were you were in some loft.
Yeah, we're in the upper floor of my garage. My garage has an upper floor to it.
So Dennis Fogg is like a garage comic, and I'm like a little cavern comic. I'm very troll-like.
Yeah.
Everyone has their niche, right?
Yeah.
Is that the right way to say it? I don't even know where to start, but did you know that you and I both graduated from Deering High School?
I did not know you were a Deering alumni.
1998.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's a little bit before my time.
It's a good year. It was a good year for wine.
So for those of us who are from away, where is...
Deering High School is... one of the greatest neighborhoods in all of Portland.
Deering Center, yeah.
Deering Center,
right.
Portland.
It used to be its own community up until like the early 1900s. It was Deering Center, and then they just merged into Portland sometime in like I can't remember, early 1900s.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So right now it's Portland.
It's Portland, yeah.
Okay.
Stevens Avenue. Do you know where University of New England is?
I don't know where anything is.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay.
I know how to get to CBU. I know how to get home. That's it.
All right.
There's no comedy venues really on Stevens Avenue, so it's hard to like.
Not yet.
I feel like I'm the same way with Auburn. Like, I only know it by the comedy venues. Like, I couldn't like.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't tell you where the Edward Little or Lewiston High are, but I know they exist.
I've heard of them, but I'm not going to drive you there.
I'm not going to drive anybody anywhere.
Growing up in that neighborhood, wouldn't it be amazing if you could put up a comedy club there?
There was technically the first iteration of the Laugh Shack was in Deering Center in
really?
Tim Hoffman's basement. It was like he just started doing comedy again. He stopped for a couple years, and he was like, Portland didn't have a comedy club back then. It's still in flux.
Yeah.
Hopefully Empire Comedy Club will be back soon.
Yeah. Right.
But he was like, well, I might as well just start one in my house. And he had a very good, his basement just happened to be very good for comedy. It was like low ceiling, like long room.
Yes.
Could fit about, 40 people. And he had comics in his basement.
That's so cool.
The owner of the Skybox in Westbrook saw that, wow, because the first few were just comedians fucking around, and then I was on like the fourth or fifth one. I had done one of the one when it was just comedians fucking around, and then like there was one like 5 or 6 shows in where it was like all of a sudden like 24 people showed up to watch. There was like, hey, we hear there's actual audience members that we didn't know, and we were like, oh well, shit.
I guess we got to be serious now.
Yeah, I got to actually tell jokes. I not just bust on the crowd. No, and it was like, yeah, for some reason, Tim decided to like list it in the Phoenix, like it lists his address in the Phoenix and like Jesus. Have people over. But yeah, so the somehow he got connected to the owner of the Skybox in Westbrook. That's where the Laugh Shack's second location was. But Mark Olson, one of the three owners of Lincoln's, was at one of the basement shows, and he was like, "This is exactly what I'm looking for my bar when it opens next summer." And he entrusted Tim to start the Laugh Shack at Lincoln's, and then Tim quit comedy again and bestowed it upon the guys who ran the Portland Comedy Co-op before me.
That's crazy.
Everything Laugh Shack at Lincoln's started in
Tim's basement,
and they he had Sam J, who has that show Pause on HBO now. She was in the basement, and it's insane to think back now.
That's funny.
Wow,
What year would that have been?
That would have been 2004, like late 2014, early 2015.
Wow.
But
that was just before I started, so I just missed it.
Yeah, I used to do shows with Sam J. Sam J probably started a little bit before me, but I remember the first time I saw her, she was the feature at the Shasky, and she wasn't even the closer. She was just featuring for Tim McIntyre, who's an older Boston comic, and it was like, even back then, like when she's doing jokes about family matters, and she's like a young comic, it's like, oh my God, like she is next level. There's like only been a handful of comics where I've been like, yeah, like what the, you're not going to be featuring at the Shasky for very long.
Like we don't belong to be around you right now.
Yeah.
I feel like was she at Lincoln's one time?
Yep, she closed Lincoln's.
I was there that one.
And that's I don't want to talk too much dirt maybe after the show, but no, she did great at Lincoln's. I wasn't at that show. I think I was at Boston that night, and she thought Lincoln's was still in Tim's basement, so she came down with a bottle of Hennessy, and like the bouncer was like, no, we actually moved to a bar.
No, we're good. We're good. Thank you, though.
You can get this then for $5. Oh, man, that's crazy. Was that when you first started doing comedy, 2014 or so? Or?
No, I started, so it's like a long-winded origin story, because I did comedy off and on, like throughout since high school and college. I would do it at like talent shows and stuff. But I consider my first official like start date was December 22nd, 2011. So my 10th anniversary is coming.
That's my birthday. December 22nd is my birthday.
Oh my God, this is such a
cool.
serendipitous.
This is messed up, yeah. That's so cool. December 22nd, 2011, so almost 10 years. That's
almost
crazy.
10 years, yeah. I'll be having my 10th anniversary show in December at Lincoln's.
You going to do something special?
Yeah, I'm just going to do like a half hour or something.
Nice, excellent.
Maybe I'll try to do an hour. I haven't tried to do an hour since like I was way too young to do an hour.
How far did you make it? Did you make it almost to an hour?
I did 57 minutes.
No shit.
This was like 2015, so I wasn't nearly as good as I am now. And like a lot of it was like, it was at Blue, and it was like at least like 20 minutes of the 57 minutes was being like, oh, they're doing construction across the street.
Somebody just walked by the window.
Yeah, hey, you got the meatballs there? I've never had the meatballs here. Are they good?
Oh, man. That's still funny, though.
Yeah.
Well, it's awesome. So you talked about the Portland Comedy Co-op. You mentioned people who ran it before you. You're not a founding member?
Not only am I not a founding member, I'm like generation... No, I'm generation 2. I was the first non-original member.
Oh, okay. So who first ran it, and how did that transition?
So the first people that ran it, it was a group. It was like when the Comedy Connection ended. So they were like the class before me a little bit. They started in like 2009, 2010.
Okay.
And when they were comics that weren't really ingratiated with the Comedy Connection.
Oh.
They were like younger comics. They probably didn't get booked on a lot there, so they decided to book their own shows. But then the Connection closed, and it was like, well, now we don't have anything. And so they started out initially as a writing group, writing jokes together, but eventually they decided to start an open mic at Spring Point Tavern near Southern Maine Community College, which incidentally also Bob Marley and George Hamm had an open mic when they were baby comics as well. So it's like a rite of passage for like new comics to have a terrible open mic at Spring Point Tavern in South Portland.
Okay.
But it was Will Green and Aaron Willows Hebert who both run the Michigan Comedy Co-op now. I think they're more focused. They have a food truck and ice cream and sandwich shop now.
Yes, I've seen the posts.
Yes, Bangos and Babe's Corner, their new sandwich shop and ice cream shop out in Lansing, Michigan.
It looks yummy.
Okay. Yeah, and then James Spizzuko, and who is not really doing comedy. He's an attorney. I guess that's more important.
You get paid a little more
to be a lawyer. Yeah, Joe Timmons and Travis Curran, who's running for city councilor in the city of Portland. He ran for mayor a few months back. So it's all people who've left or stopped doing comedy, but eventually like everybody kind of like trailed off, and like I became close friends with Will and Aaron.
Yep.
And when they left for Michigan in 2016 and 17, they were like, well, Connor's the guy that we trust the most to do it. And I took it over, and I joined in, I think, 2015, and then I took it over July 2017 when Aaron left.
Nice.
And then I was like, I'm not going to fucking run this shit by myself.
All right.
So I added.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's hard. I don't see, you have to have an incredibly huge ego and amount of time on your hand to like run a little comedy monolith by yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I respect people who do that, but it's like, I need somebody, it to be a team effort. And, you know, me and Anders have been producing comedy shows since we were in high school, and Michaela's great. She's, you know, she brings a different energy. So those are the two that I brought in, and occasionally we brought people in since then.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's hard to run a comedy show, let alone multiple comedy shows, and keep track of everybody and answer emails and then write your own shit and you know, pay attention to all those little things.
Yeah. I'm looking forward. I'm like, I'm going to be sort of stepping down as the head of the co-op. I'll still be in the co-op, but I'm going to hand over the reins to Anders at the end of the fall and just be like, I want to focus on comedy. I'm like tired of comics being like, Connor, why are you still here? Like, it's like, I'm just going to like, you know, not that I don't love Maine. I mean, I freaking love Maine. I love the Maine comedy scene. I love the people I've met, but it's like, I'm going to like push myself as a singular performer more. And, you know, I'll let Anders worry about, not responding to open micers emails.
That seems fair. I think personally, you know, watching you perform, you're destined for just something a little bit bigger than Maine.
That's what I hope for. Yeah.
I don't know exactly where you'll land, but I can picture a Netflix special in your future. At the very least.
Low class, high functioning Maine man, something like that.
Yeah.
I think about it sometimes, but yeah.
I do enjoy watching you. Well, how did you come up with low class, high functioning?
That was actually I credit that one. That bit was Tim Hoffman creation.
Okay.
Like me and Tim Hoffman would ride together to shows a lot when he was back doing comedy in the mid 2010s, and I was like rattling on about pro wrestling or Mr. or some kind of like obscure pop culture stuff, and he was like, God, you have low class, high functioning autism.
Oh, that's funny. It's I don't know if it's necessarily one of your best bits, but it's like I when I first heard it, I was like, oh my God, that's so good.
Yeah, it's good. I gotta credit Tim for that one.
Yep.
Hopefully he's listening to this somewhere.
I don't know. I mean, is he one of the 10 that pay attention?
I think we're up to 12 listeners.
12 listeners. Oh man. I don't know if we want to get into Connor's bits necessarily, but IED, IUD, UTI bit that. I've seen that several times. And
the IED, IUD, UTI bit, I think that was just like me getting them confused. Like it didn't happen in an instance where I was actually in the throes of love making, but I think I just brought it up on a car ride with some comics, and it's like, I don't know the difference between IEDs, IUDs, and UTIs. And they were like, do that, write that, do that on stage. Yeah, that's how I get like most.
I was just gonna say,
most of my bits is
just hanging out.
Those are my best bits. I mean, I write on my own occasionally, but like, it's really just off the cuff. A lot of it, just conversations with comics. And
Okay. Do you keep like a notebook or?
Yeah, I have a little notebook that I jot down ideas when inspiration strikes. I don't like type out like my entire bits. I like kind of like just free form coming up with it. And
but
if a phrase works, I might just jot it down.
Eventually, do you type it out? So, because I've definitely seen you do, not necessarily verbatim, but
it's memorization more than anything. Okay. I don't like type out like bits word for word. I just, I jot down bullet points, which is, the interesting thing is I learned that from the Kathy Griffin reality show, My Life on the D-List, back in the 2000s. Wow. Yeah. Like they showed, there was an episode where they showed her backstage before a gig, and she had that method, and I was just like, oh, so that's how like comedians write their sets. So that's like, do it. Yeah. But it turns out not everybody does it like Kathy Griffin.
No, I don't think anyone.
And well, that's also where my jokes making fun of the Kardashians come from. That's primarily Kathy Griffin influence.
She's good.
She's great.
Yeah, I like her. I don't know where to go. We'll talk about your memory. I was at Bull Feeney's one night with Mark Turcotte, and he looked up WWE WrestleManias, and you rattled off correctly every single. You missed this, Leonard. This was amazing.
Every match or.
Yeah, probably like every match. At least I did back like 4 or 5 years ago when Turcotte would do that. He even brought it to the radio once when I was on his radio show. He like was coming up with wrestling facts and asking me and challenging me on it, and I was just like.
It was one after the other. I mean, we probably went at least 10 minutes, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it was like a typical Bull Feeney's night where it's like 8 comedians huddled in the back
and nobody else. But it was pretty impressive. Like, yeah. I don't even know if this is right. I should have looked this stuff up beforehand. But like, if someone says WrestleMania 5, do you need like a date or do you need like a? How is it that you remember that
WrestleMania
stuff?
5. I know. I think it was April 2nd, 1989. It was the '89 one.
Yeah.
That was Macho Man versus Hulk Hogan was the main event for the world title, and then the Ultimate Warrior versus Rick Rude for the Intercontinental title.
What the hell?
And the
unbelievable
3-on-2 handicap match, Demolition versus the Powers of Pain and Mr. Fuji for the tag team titles.
Of course it was.
We're gonna fact check this later, but I believe he's right. I know you're right. I know he is. It's unbelievable that. So was it just because you grew up watching it, or?
Oh yeah, I've spent most of my life watching wrestling outside of a couple years when I was in high school when it wasn't super cool, but. Since it's been super cool the rest of the time, but yeah, I just like I love wrestling because wrestling. I mean, I think a lot of people on the spectrum like wrestling because there's so many like backstories and like characters and like kind of like all ties together. It's like a never-ending history.
It's amazing
because they're still referencing guys from the 80s and 90s. And,
are they okay?
Yeah.
What is it called now? I do not follow wrestling, and
well, the major promotion is there's so many different types of wrestling, which my girlfriend's like unfortunately come to learn. She was like, I didn't realize there are so many different kinds of wrestling. But the major one's WWE. That's like that's the Disney McDonald's of wrestling, formerly WWF, and then formerly WWF in like my dad's era.
Oh wow,
WWWF?
Yeah, it used to be the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, and then. I think right around the time Vince McMahon Jr., the famous Vince McMahon, took it over. He was like, the extra W is extraneous. We're just going to be WWF.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Yeah, it's... Now, you've posted pictures of local events. How... Like, you know how baseball has minor league and whatnot?
Yeah.
Does wrestling have all that, too?
Yeah,
like the
wrestling
tiers?
has, like, tiers. Like, it's not as organized as baseball. There's not a particular... single A and double A, but
Farm
like
League.
WWE has their own like triple A now, NXT, which is also on the USA Network, and then there's like smaller promotions like Limitless. Actually, the promotion that I usually post pictures from, they draw like 300 people a month to the AmVets in Yarmouth.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's good, and they have like these wrestlers that are on national TV and like secondary promotions to WWE. But they're great, and it's inspiring. They inspire me. The promoter Randy's like 22 years old, and he started Limitless when he started it as his like high school graduation present.
No kidding.
His parents gave him like he took all the money that his parents and his relatives gave him for his high school graduation and started an independent wrestling promotion.
Jesus.
What? Really?
Yes.
That's crazy.
But yeah, he worked on like wrestling shows since he was like 13 or 14, and then like he was like, oh, instead of using this like $700 to like
put
buy a
rims
laptop
on my car.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna put on a wrestling show.
Oh,
and it's successful.
It's turned into like it's like people talk about it in like New York and California. It's like one of the biggest independent promotions in the country.
Oh shit! Well, that's
which
awesome.
is like insane because like main wrestling, it was like the butt of like the joke in New England wrestling. It was like hillbillies and clowns and.
What? Wow. Have you? Isn't there a wrestler from Westbrook? Is it not Scotty Too Hottie? Was he from Westbrook, Maine?
Scotty Too Hottie?
Yeah.
He's from Wyndham, Westbrook or Wyndham. He lives in Florida now. He works as a trainer for WWE.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Did you ever meet him?
Yes, I met him once when he did a signing at the Scarborough Hannafords. He was out with like a neck injury for like a year, So he was not it was not a particularly like memorable, like, he was looking understandably like not in the most festive mood.
He's kind of looking like the rest of us.
Yeah, he's like signing autographs in a grocery store. It's like, it's not going to be like, I don't think I'd be very chipper.
Nah, I wouldn't imagine, especially the Scarborough Hannaford.
It's a nice Hannaford.
It is, but the people there.
Yeah, it's probably like.
Well, if you got to be signing autographs in a Hannaford, you want it to be a nice one.
It'd be a nice one, but you want to, like, I don't know if people who watch wrestling go to the Scarborough Hannafords. It was not a particularly well-attended autograph signing.
Oh.
Who's that guy in front of the lamb chops? That's Scotty Young. Oh, man, that's funny. Do you like other combat sports or just the wrestling because of the stories and stuff? Like, do you watch UFC and stuff like that? Or?
UFC, like, I've watched it before. It's not my favorite. I like boxing. Okay, I used to really be into boxing in like the 90s and 2000s.
Yeah.
My dad's a huge boxing fan, so we'd watch boxing together.
Nice.
And I used to like boxing back then, but not as much now.
Yeah. Let's get back to comedy.
Yes.
We know you from Lincoln's, of course, and the Portland Comedy Co-op, and you had a show at Blue. How far have you gone with comedy? Like, what's your reach been? Have you gone out to Michigan and visited those guys?
I've gone out to Michigan. I've performed. Probably the furthest I've been away geographically was San Francisco. I performed in San Francisco for the Mutiny Radio Comedy Festival there.
Nice.
And that's as far as I've gone. I've gone to San Francisco, done Michigan, New York. I've done Montreal once, back when Rachel Gendron lived there, and so I'm technically international.
Cool.
Excellent. You mentioned Montreal. You were like this close to going to Just for Laughs before the pandemic. Am I wrong? Or
I'm not this. I was on one of the audition shows.
Okay.
And, that was supposed to happen in April 2020. I got invited by the bookers of one of the bookers for Laugh Boston to do that. And that was like a couple weeks after the pandemic started, so.
That went down the drain.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I still talk to them occasionally, so maybe the next time they have a full-blown Just for Laughs audition, I'll be on the docket, hopefully. But yeah, that would be one of my big goals, is to do Just for Laughs, new faces.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's huge.
Because even if nothing happens after that, I could be on the list with somebody else who got
right, exactly.
It was like, I was all with them. Well, I already do that now. I was talking about doing Shaskeen with Sam J. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I've already encountered a few people that have.
It's a credit. I mean, to some extent. You've done shows down in Boston, New York, and stuff.
Oh yeah, a lot of Boston stuff. Before the pandemic, I was down in Boston probably like twice a month.
Nice.
I was doing pretty much everything except for the club and the comedy studio. I would do, every room there.
Nice. Excellent.
And you talked about being on the autism spectrum, and like, is that like, what sort of challenges that present for you, or connecting with audiences, or is it, or I mean, you talk about it a lot on stage, but is it actually a challenge for you?
I was actually just talking about this with an audience member at Lincoln's. It's not really being on stage, because being on stage is like I'm talking, like it's not an interactive thing. It's like after the show, like talking to people after the show, and like handling dumb audience questions and like comedy drama. It's like I find it a lot easier to just talk to a group of 20 to a couple hundred people than it is to talk to a group of 1 to 5 people. It's like, it's a little bit more challenging. And it's like, especially since the pandemic ended, it's been like absolutely slamming after shows. Like every show has been hopping for the past month. And it's like, everybody's like, people are like talking in every direction. It's like very sensory. So the sensory portions of comedy, sometimes I get bothered by the lights on stage, which is why I usually have my eyes closed on stage, so it doesn't affect it. Like, it's kind of like meditative too. Like I'm just kind of like in my zone with my eyes closed on stage.
Oh, that's interesting. I never knew it was the lights. I thought it was like.
It's a lot. Like people are like people are. It doesn't like pain me. The lights don't pain me, but I find it easier to do with my eyes closed and kind of concentrate, try to focus on my set, because I've had bookers and hosts be like, "Are the lights like hurting you? Are you in like physically pained by the seats?" And it's like it's not quite that bad, but it's just like I find it easier to shut it all out than like But it's backfired a few times. just one or two times when I was like, I had my eyes closed and I opened them up and like somebody's like a foot away from me, like a crazy drunk person was like, ah! Like I was like, maybe I should tell jokes with my eyes. It happened at Empire Comedy Club. Once I was doing a set there and there was this just drunk loudmouth lady there, and she tried to grab the mic away from me.
What?
And it was so fun. It was so funny because I was like, I didn't know what to. I did not handle it that well. But then nobody really handled it well. I was like, hey, Ian Stewart was hosting the show, and I was like, hey, Ian, and he couldn't like corral the woman, and Ian was like, Lucas, the owner of Empire Comedy Club. Eventually, it took like 3 people. It took like Ian, Lucas, and the like bouncer to like get this woman off stage.
That's great. Was it the last time Leah went to a show? Or?
That's how we met, actually.
Oh my God, no, that's crazy. So you're when you say your eyes are closed, your eyes are closed.
I open them occasionally because I want to be like conscientious of the light. So I always ask the booker and host, like, okay. I'm like, because there's been times when I've gotten in a rhythm, I've had my eyes closed on stage, and I go like 4 minutes over my set time.
Yeah.
So it's like I pop them open occasionally, and sometimes I pop them open to like time like a headline, like sync up a headline.
Yeah.
Like the like I think IED joke I do it once, like
yeah.
That means you can ejaculate. When the like lady says ejaculate, it means you can ejaculate at me, and whenever you like, I'm like pop my eyes open, I'm like, wow.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it does work.
Yeah.
Even just you doing it just now.
Wow.
It's like, oh shit.
Great.
I can picture it. That's funny.
Yeah.
It's a little cherry on top. Oh man. Yeah. Well, how do you? I'm trying to think now because I'm always looking at people and like how they react. Do you not give a shit?
I don't. I mean, I'm a very self-centered performer. Like, I just like being in my own zone, and
you're gonna do.
If somebody yells something at me, I can figure it out back. But it's like I'm not gonna seek it out.
Right.
Because it's like it's not part of my shtick. Like I'm not.
You're not
Mr.
a crowd worker. Yeah.
No, I mean I could probably do it now better than I could a few years ago. But it's not like it's not my I know my strengths, and talking to people is not my strength. To anybody who's listened to the last half hour of this podcast.
No, this is great. Oh, wow, that's funny.
Yeah. So what other? I guess who are your sort of comedy influences? Like who do you like to
So
watch?
Believe it or not, my like college thesis, my senior thesis was like stand-up pop culture. Stand-up depictions of stand-up in pop culture. So I studied, basically like every movie and TV show that was written about stand-up.
Oh,
and I also had a paper about Richard Pryor, and I, went down to New York and went to the Museum of Film and Television.
Wow.
Watched old clips of Richard Pryor on their little tape machine. I guess this is 2010, so it was still like it wasn't all on a laptop. Apparently, they took me to like a little video room, and I would go to like I didn't go to the Cellar for some reason. I went to like the club that's closed now. I think it's called Comics. It was on like 16th Street. And I saw Donald Glover back when Donald Glover did stand up.
Wow.
And it was Hannibal Buress was the feature.
Yeah.
And Sean Patton was the host. And then I went to a stand-up showcase at UCB a couple nights later that Hannibal Buress was also on. So Hannibal Buress was like the guy, like for some reason, like I thought like, oh, this guy's he's like, I thought I liked stand-up, but I didn't think I could do it successfully because I'm not like a punchline, like a super, I mean, I am super high energy, but I'm not like the traditional stand-up energy. But like Hannibal Buress is like, it's kind of like a weird, he's like unique and kind of like, I thought, I was like, oh, like I can sort of be like.
Right. Well, if he can do it that way, then I can do it my way.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
It's interesting when you do, as you study stand-up comedy more and watch more people and you realize like there's no rules.
Right.
You can do whatever you want. You can talk about whatever you want.
Right. It doesn't even have to, it doesn't even necessarily have to be funny all the time. It should be at least somewhat funny. There should be some comedic element. Otherwise, you're doing slam poetry. But Yeah, I was just a huge fan when I started doing stand-up, and then it's all been downhill ever since.
Are you addicted to it? Will you ever stop? Do you think you'd ever stop? Can you picture yourself like an old person's home somewhere someday?
Yeah, I don't think I'll be doing it. I don't know if I'll be like the old guy telling jokes. I don't know. I would like during the pandemic, honestly, like towards the end of the pandemic, like 3 or 4 months ago, I was like, maybe I won't come back. Maybe I'll just use my writing degree instead. And it's just like, and I was like, maybe, but it was just literally like one show. It's like, oh, I just had to remember what I missed.
Right. Yep. From that, what, do you remember the first time you got a laugh? I don't know.
As a kid, maybe
as a kid,
crowd, or
I used to. My family used to love it when I mispronounced things. That was like my first thing. Because when we moved from Munjoy Hill to Deering Center, I used to, like, whenever we used to ride by the Kentucky Fried Chicken that used to be on Woodford's Corner, I used to yell out, "Freaky-eyed chicken, freaky-eyed chicken, freaky-eyed chicken." That was like my first. I was like 3.
You're like 3 years old,
yeah,
and they're laughing at you.
And I would at a certain point, I knew that they laughed at me saying "freaky-eyed chicken," so I was like conscientious of it. But yeah.
And that's in your act to this day.
Yeah, my big freaky-eyed chicken closer.
In high school, you did talent shows, you said?
Yep, I did talent shows, and I did a sketch and improv comedy group. Me and Anders Nielsen and a couple other people formed a sketch and improv comedy. They were like, we want to do our own version of SNL at Deering High School.
Cool.
Yeah.
And is that where you first did stand-up also?
I think I did stand-up at like a fine arts night, which was what we called our talent shows, and I would do a lot more impressions back then.
But also in high school.
Yeah, in high school. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I can't imagine being in high school and doing comedy on stage in front of.
Oh, it's not good. It's like it was. I mean, like I said, it was mostly impressions.
Okay.
My friend Kenny would do. He was like the other stand-up, and he would literally do like Abbott and Costello's "Who's on First," and it's just.
Oh, okay.
So at least it was like I was like, I might not be the like best act on the talent show, but at least I'm not doing like 70-year-old Abbott and Costello routines that nobody in like 2005 is gonna get.
I have some more recent material.
Yeah. I was like, I did an impression of. I was like, what if Al Pacino starred in the sequel to Daddy Daycare?
Oh, we got to hear it.
We got to hear it.
These kids are crapping their pants.
and then this other student, the student body at Deering High at that point would have just sat there and gone like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I did an impression of Rocky running for some reason. I remember that was like, I would sing the Rocky as theme song and like run around the auditorium.
So no words, you're just running?
I would be like, ba, 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 ba.
That's pretty good.
And then I think at the end I would do like do some stuff.
Yeah.
So my impressions were at least like 20 years old, so it was a little bit
more than
Kenny's. Yeah.
All right.
A little more timely.
A little bit more contemporary.
You don't have any impressions now, do you? Like you don't.
No, I think the last impression I did on stage, I did. I used to do a Bill Cosby impression, which I.
Oh Jesus!
Like 3 years into comedy, and the worst thing is, there was another comedian like a year or two after that whole. I stopped doing my Cosby thing. She was like, Connor, I really hope you haven't let the current events like prevent you from doing your Cosby impression. I was like, I don't know what to tell you. I think you got your priorities in the wrong place.
Yeah. What's funny's funny.
Yeah.
Oh man.
If it was, it wasn't. Yeah. No, it wasn't worth it.
No. What do you think about Cosby now? Would you book him? If
I would not book Cosby at Lincoln's. No.
Oh, he's available now.
He's available.
Yeah.
And then the comedy clubs. His lawyer said comedy clubs are the interest is there.
For real?
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, there's plenty of other comedians up and coming, and even people that have been around and they're in their 40s and 50s and whatnot that could be booked over Bill Cosby, for Christ's sakes. That's ridiculous. What's your favorite part about booking shows?
My favorite part of shows is like on a night like Thursday night when it's like it's packed, it's a great audience, and there's great comics, and it's a diverse group of voices. I think, and I'm presenting something different than anything else that's being presented in Maine. No offense to the River Comics. And it's good. It's just nights when it's like when it all works out. It makes it worth the lineups that aren't so great.
Yeah.
It's like I still have lineups sometimes where there are more mics than women on the show.
Sure. That's easy to do.
There's like 4 mics in Maine comedy, so
yeah. It's kind of sometimes it's just statistically speaking, the nature of the beast. What's your least favorite part?
My least favorite part is I don't like rejection. So I don't like being mean to people. And I don't like confrontation because comics are naturally confronting people. Luckily, there's only been a few examples of comics that have been very confrontational. But I don't like confrontation and just I don't like bad comedy. But luckily, like there's I don't book bad comics. So, but once in a while there'll be like a set where it's like I don't. Yeah. There's some comics that are like masochists apparently that like really like bad comedy. They like to watch other comics bomb, but it's like I can't handle it. Like if I'm at an open mic and I hear this next performer, it's their first time on stage, I go walk outside and pace because I can't. It makes me anxious.
No, you definitely feel it. It's in the air. It's in the room. You're watching them, and they're still going. We had an open mic the other night, and a guy he wasn't a comic. So he didn't have any prepared, and he got up there and like within 2 minutes, I'm texting Leonard like, "Light, you gotta light him! Like, God, do something, get him out of here!" Because you could feel the pressure in the room. It was
the
so
air
bad.
is just heavier right now.
And then he did a bad Bob Marley impression, and it was
Bob Marley the reggae singer or Bob Marley the comedian?
The comedian.
Oh yeah,
it was hard to tell. It was hard to tell.
One of my first bits was I used to do an impression of Bob Marley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when I started doing comedy at Slancha, end of 2011, early 2012, and that was the one like the other comedians love because they there's nothing low level Maine comedians love more than hating on the most successful Maine comedian.
People do that, don't they?
Yeah, people just randomly on like the Portland Comedy Co-op or Laugh Shack page and was like, it's great to see like a real like Maine comedy show, like not with that like goof hack Bob Marley. And I was
like what?
Okay. He's quite successful.
Yeah, he's quite successful. I love Bob Marley, but it's like I just let him have it. I let him. I'm not going to argue with them about.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
I'm sure Bob Marley's just crying into wads of Benjamin Franklin's at a house in Cumberland.
Yeah, exactly. He's doing just fine.
These $100 bills are all done now. They've got tears on them.
What do you think of the overall not Portland, but the Maine comedy scene? I mean,
I think it's really good, and I think once Empire is back up and running, like we will be, the strongest it's been since I've started comedy. The funny thing is, like, I started comedy 8 or 9 months before the Comedy Connection closed. So it's been closed basically the entire time I've been doing comedy. And we've just kind of been like wandering the hills, like looking for a home. And now we'll have a home again, hopefully soon. We had one for a couple months and then, but yeah. No, but it's good. We have like good scenes and we have like little, different scenes. You got the Lewiston Auburn scene up here. We got a lot of good comics developing. We got, Portland Comedy Co-op. There's, young comics like Moa Wale. And it's just, it's exciting. It's exciting to watch young comics develop and different voices. It's like a lot more diverse than it was even when I started. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Even just a few years.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's become very diverse.
Thank you, Leonard. No, but it's like
I'm here to bring diversity.
Yeah. But like seriously, like when I was, started doing comedy, it was dudes and maybe a few women, but now we got, across the spectrum, autism spectrum, we got, people, LGBT community. So it's great. I love seeing, different voices come up on stage. And that's the thing, that's what we've tried to promote at the Portland Comedy Co-op as best as we can. It's Maine. There's only so much we can do. But
right. Yeah.
Just,
But you're bringing comedians. When you have a show at Lincoln's, every show is like people, there's people local, but there's people coming from away. And it's all very diverse.
We had
you guys do a really good job.
Los Angeles comics. Yeah, we've had comics from literally all over the country.
Yeah. Some of your bigger names that you've had there, do they comment on how great a room that actually is?
Yes.
Because it seems like the perfect spot.
Yeah, I mean, I would say like there's like 99% of people enjoy it, and then the 1% that don't enjoy it are just people that are just kind of naturally grouchy, and they're gonna be angry. They're gonna bitch, find something to bitch about. But
exactly.
people, national touring comics that have done television and all the major rooms have raved about Lincoln's.
Yeah, for the shows I've been that I've seen there at Lincoln's, you got to try hard to really not like what's going on there.
Yeah,
so it's a really fantastic.
There's been I've been involved with Lincoln's since it started in 2015, and I ran it since 2017. The honest to God, the amount of bad shows at Lincoln's is probably like about a half dozen out of like the hundreds and hundreds of shows.
Yeah, you're doing a show every Thursday.
We're doing 50 to 52 shows a year, and it's like, maybe that ranges out to maybe one bad show a year. It just takes it takes something really weird to happen to have a bad show at Lincoln's.
Mm-hmm. I saw a picture from last week or 2 weeks ago maybe, and the number of people, the sea of people that were in there was just incredible to look at. It was like, oh man, I wish I was there.
Yeah, it's incredible. I wasn't sure what it would be like coming back from the pandemic. I knew that the first one would be pretty good, but I thought it would taper off a little bit. But it's been like this Thursday was our biggest audience, I think, ever since I've ran it. And I've ran it
That's crazy.
2/3 of the time it's been around. So I'm assuming it's the biggest ever.
Yeah, like two or so weeks ago when I was there and I'm walking up and you guys were outside and you're like, sorry, we're sold out.
What do you mean sold out?
Sold out. We're
if I'd known that we would be talking about this on the podcast, I would have squeezed you in.
That's all right. Yeah. No, we squeezed in later. We went and got another beer and then I came back. But like it was just
it's
really
been
really
crazy.
Awesome to see that. Yeah.
And it's been good audiences. So I'm looking forward to that. And Empire, the news about Empire is getting better. I don't want to talk about it on the podcast, but there was a time when it looked like we might not have a club to come back to. So, but hopefully it's getting closer every day.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
No, I think things are getting back to pre-pandemic levels, for lack of a better word. And, I think we all have good opportunities coming up in the next little while. So. What else? I mean, you got Lincoln's. What else are you looking for in the future? Are you really going to move away? And
I don't know if I'm going to move away. I think I'm just going to pursue the Boston comedy scene more. Maybe take some more New York trips. Like I don't think I'm at the stage where the connections I've built at Lincoln's and on shows that I've met, comics that I've met at Boston shows. Like I could probably do like a week or two stretch in New York a couple times a year and hit up some rooms and do that. I don't know if right now if moving to New York is in the cards, but I would certainly like to get to New York and to Boston more and hopefully get back to do another Just for Laughs audition and do Just for Laughs and just, kind of build up the resume and get my face seen out there so I can be a touring comic.
Right. You ever going to record a CD? You think, or not? I don't think people do CDs anymore. You got to do a record.
Yeah, record.
You're gonna get a vinyl record.
I'm gonna get a phonograph. It's 78 RPM.
I wish I wasn't so old.
I might probably maybe by the end of maybe if not this year, the next year for sure. I think it's at some point it's like I'm almost 10 years in. Like I got to document something for the first decade.
Right.
I mean, how often do you record your sets? Are you going to record your birthday show?
Yeah, if you do an hour, you definitely should.
Not your birthday show, but your anniversary show.
I will record that in some capacity at least. If I don't release it professionally, I'll really record it for myself.
Yeah.
No, I don't really record my sets too often. Mike Gray recorded my set here. The last set I did here at CBU, but no, I don't record or listen to my sets back. I'm kind of an oddball in that sense, but. Okay. I know what I said on stage.
I know what I said.
I don't need to hear it again.
You know it was funny. Come on.
I heard that.
Let's move on.
I heard the laughter.
We all heard the laughter.
And if I didn't hear the laughter, I don't want to think about it too much.
I'm glad to hear that your voice is back after that 3 or 4 sets in a row you had, and you came to Trinken a couple weeks ago, and was not struggling, but you could definitely hear.
I had a honk to my voice. Yeah, that was
really?
3 shows in 3 nights, which is it was pretty common before the pandemic, but it was weird because that was like literally the first Lincoln's back. Then I did a show. I did a outdoors show in at Maps right across next to Portland.
Yeah.
And I just was not used to it. Was not used to my vocal cords. Couldn't handle it. I just need. I just would need to figure out volume control better. I guess that's my next goal. Is I don't want to blow out my voice when I'm about to go on Colbert or something.
Yeah,
exactly. Can't have that.
That would be bad. Yeah. So, what is your beef with Slugger the Sea Dog?
I just don't like that he won't race. He won't race adults, and I want to. He said it's the kids' challenge, and it's like we don't have to race at Hadlock. We can go to the Deering High School track.
He's scared. Slugger is scared.
That's a good transition to the final segment we like to do on interviews is called Curse to Darkness. So there's a idiom that goes, I'd rather light a candle than curse to darkness. So it means like I'd rather do something about issues or problems instead of just complaining about them. So in opposition to that, we'd like you to actually curse the darkness. So talk about something you want to complain about. It can be about Slugger, that's fine too, but complain about something that you don't plan on burning any calories to fix or do anything to rectify.
I would say, and this is in a non-comedy context, but in my day job with customer service, I would curse, the thing that I curse the darkness about on a daily basis is small talk with strangers. Just like strangers who like making too much small talk. They're just like, hey, how's your day going? I'm like, 4th of July weekend. You got some bread. So it's like, I barely care about small talk with people that I do like. Like if, Leonard was asking me about the holiday weekend, I'd be like, all right. But let alone like how do people, like, I don't get how like neurotypical non-autistic people, for people who don't know the term, I don't get how like neurotypical have the capacity to pretend to care about basically everyone. It's like,
It's hard. Trust me.
Exhausting.
I was like, I don't know how you guys do it. It's like ridiculous. It's like, how about the weather? It's like, the Patriots, so you think they're going to be, going to make the playoffs this year? It's like, I'm just
trying to pump my gas. Stop talking to me.
Yeah.
100% agree.
The people who do that at in public restrooms, those are the bane of my existence. I got a shy bladder, and people are like, "Hey, how's it flowing?" Like, not good anymore.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with this one. I definitely do. It's neurotypical is the phrase.
Neurotypical is the phrase. Yeah, for people not on the spectrum.
Okay. Just for clarification, what do you call it? What you have? Are you on the spectrum? What is
autism spectrum disorder?
Autism spectrum disorder. Okay.
And Asperger's syndrome, but I stopped referring it to Asperger's syndrome after I read a book called. I'm gonna mess it up. The autism community reading this is gonna rake me over the coals. Called In a Different View. I think it was about the history of autism, and Dr. Asperger, he was a child psychiatrist, and if he was a child psychiatrist in 1930s and 1940s Germany, so if he didn't send people to concentration camps, apparently he didn't do much to stop certain mentally deficient people to get sent from the concentration camps. So I don't feel comfortable calling it Asperger's syndrome anymore. I think it's kind of starting to get slowly phased out. So yeah.
I haven't heard the phrase in a long time myself.
Yeah, I think autism spectrum disorder, or just autism, it's just high functioning is kind of passe now too, because people don't like to rate functionism based on it's kind of incorrect with the autism community.
Okay.
So,
well, thank you for clarifying.
But I can say it because it's No, you guys can't say it, but I can.
I think I referred to it as Asperger's before, and someone has corrected me, and I was like, well, I think Connor called it Asperger's. I don't know.
I used to up until like a year or two ago. I think right before the pandemic, I just started saying autism spectrum disorder. But
okay, well that's cool. I appreciate you clarifying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks. Yeah. Okay, well. Connor, thank you very much.
Absolutely,
for being
thank you, Leonard.
On the podcast. This was great having you.
Thank you, Nick. I have to go to the bathroom actually right now, and I hope nobody talks to me while I'm in there.
Yeah, so just bring the microphone with you. So we got a long court. Okay.
Crackling Rose, get on board. I hope we don't get sued by Neil Diamond for me singing one line of his song.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
All right, Connor McGrath, everyone.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Leonard.
Thank you.
That was so much fun.
Thank you. that was Connor McGrath, twice voted Maine's funniest comedian by the Portland Phoenix. He was really great for the comedy scene in Maine. We really enjoyed having him on the podcast.
Yeah, I think I voted for him at least both those times for the funniest comedian contest or the funniest comedian poll that they did. Well deserving. Gotta love Connor McGrath.
Yep. And we realized that we didn't talk about some other things that we wanted to speak with him about. So hopefully we'll have him on soon again, and that'll be a real treat.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. Do a little comedy roundtable. So thanks again to everyone who listened. Tell your friends and follow Comedy Think Tanked wherever you can. Be sure to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Find us on Instagram at Comedy Think Tanked, Twitter at Comedy Tanked, and our website, comedythinktanked.com. Email us at comedythinktanked@gmail.com. And be sure to have a great day. Thanks all.
Theme music was written and produced by a minor, Ralph Birgfeld. No comedians were hurt in the production of this podcast. All audio snippets of actual funny punchlines were not written or performed by any of us or our subsidiaries. Rather, they are express written bits of professionals we admire. Let the civil actions be filed. Any opinion heard, actual or implied, is that of the Comedy Think Tank producers and their guests. Any slight, insult, affront, slur, disparaging remark, snub, rebuff, rejection, or spurning, no matter how derogatory, pejorative, or abusive you may feel it is, was not intended, but for comedic, entertaining purposes only. Thanks for listening.
We're fucking professionals.